What's up, you guys? Dan Triathlon here with the first episode of the Dan Triathlon Show. So essentially today what we're going to talk about is my first triathlon experience, what's called what you can do for your very first triathlon, and what I worked on at the very beginning, which was swim. Now, for the swim, I've got a couple clips to show you guys what's called from my past to my present, which I'll show right now. And what essentially happened was that when I first started swimming, I didn't understand anything about anything when it came to swimming. I had no coach. I literally just jumped in and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do my first triathlon. Coming from a running background, I thought it would be a lot easier going into triathlon. I said, you know what, since triathlon has more to do with running and biking, since it is a longer bike and run, I said, you know what, it's gonna be about the same. I'm not gonna have to do too much, work for it, and I can just go in and do what I need to do. I was completely wrong, guys. For my very first swim, as you guys can see in the video right now, my form was not the best. It was legit all over the place. My arms were just flopping. I was smashing the water, and it looks almost like my elbow was going straight up into the air instead of going in a straight line in the pool to learn what I had to do. My breathing was also off. I was breathing only to one side. I couldn't bilateral breathe, and I hadn't even learned about bilateral breathing, to be honest with you, until maybe 2 months in when I started watching a show here on YouTube called the GTN show, which was when I first heard about bilateral breathing. Had I known about that show a little bit earlier, then maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But my breathing was just, hey, just go off and breathe to one side. You'll be fine as long as you're breathing, which still combats even further out from when I first started swim, that I didn't even, breathe to one side. I was trying to hold my breath the whole time. I watched a couple triathlons and I saw the athletes. I'm like, how are they holding their breath so long? I know it's kind of stupid on my part to have thought that, but everyone starts off somewhere, and I started off like that, thinking they didn't breathe and then only breathing off to one side. It wasn't until I got a coach by the name of Ariel, which I'm going to show a picture of him right now as well. He was the one who actually taught me to swim all what's called, bilateral breathing when it came down to what's called the form and everything. He taught me within about 2 months how to do so, because I started training for my first triathlon like in June. I got him as my trainer, I'd like to say maybe like in October time. And then from there was when my form wasn't as bad as when it initially started. My form was pretty bad when it initially started, because it was just, oh yeah, what's called do what you need to do, don't do this, don't do that, what's called. And when it came down to it, I was just like, you know what, I need a coach because I don't know what I'm doing. When Ariel came in, he told me that he was a CIF champion, or a CIF, he was a CIF champion in the short distances, and aside from that, he had already done the mile as well. He had gotten about a 20-minute mile, which is pretty impressive for a swimmer. Anyone who swims knows that a mile, most people are taking about 30 minutes, maybe 26 minutes. I used to take about what's called almost 40 minutes doing 1,000 meters, guys. So when it came down to it, I was like, you know what, since he is a CIF champ from beforehand, from back in the days, then maybe he might be able to teach me a little bit more about swimming. So he came in and he taught me a lot of the form, and I'm going to play you guys a clip right now of how I'm swimming now. As you guys can see, the form is a lot cleaner. I'm not what's called splashing around in the water too much. I'm actually going, my body's straight. I'm kicking a little bit more than I used to. My arms aren't making that big splash. And I only got this clip of about 75 meters because my buddy had actually shown up. What happens is that he came in, I told him, hey, could you record me, take my time from because I'm going to do a YouTube video where I'm going to show my before and after on the swim. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So as you guys can see, I had my tri-suit on, and I only did the 75-meter clip because he showed up. In my experience, swimming out in the open water will cause a lot of panic. Here in the pool, you won't see me panic because, you get to see the floor, or most people don't panic because they can see the floor. It's about 5, 7, 10 feet maybe, and you can still see the floor. You could say, you know what, even if I have to go down and bring myself back up, it's not too bad. It's only a 10-foot, rise, and it's you can literally just tap the floor and shoot yourself up. But the only thing is that when you come out into open water, it's a completely different story. Going out into the open water, what's going on is that sometimes the water's murky, you can't see through it, it's really cold, and my thing is that I suggest taking ice baths to combat the panic. One of the things is the panic will be the one that is going to make you feel like you're going to drown, like you're not going to be able to make it out of the water, and I am a testament of that. I actually went down to Lake Paris one time, and had to get out because not only did I get a cramp, but I was also panicking because I couldn't see beyond my hand, beyond anything that I had. Now, it's an amazing experience going out into the open water. To combat the panic is to make sure that you are like what's called taking ice baths and getting your body used to being in the cold water. Aside from that, one of the things that I was told by my trainer Ariel as well was that if you're gonna do that, make sure that you guys are also swimming at a lot at your top speed pretty much, and making sure that your heart rate is on the above, because that's what your cold water does to your heart. It accelerates it. No matter how much you wanted to not do that, it will accelerate it, and it will feel like you're actually out of breath when in reality you've just maybe gone out 100 meters and now you're just scared, you're panicked. One of my triathlons I actually got pulled out of the water because I panicked so much, and I don't really like to admit it, but there are things that happen when you're in the sport. You're eventually gonna learn that you'll get pulled out of the water, you'll get a cramp, you'll do this, you'll do that while running, or you'll fall off the bike and you won't be able to finish the race. Not something that every triathlete wants, but it's something that we've all got to endure from one point to another. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the first triathlon that I did. I'm going to play you guys a little bit of clips as well. My first triathlon was a Tinsel Triathlon right here in Hemet. It was actually one of the most fun triathlons that I've done. I wasn't able to do it this year. The first triathlon that I did was last year in the first triathlon that I did was last year in December, and that was the Tinsel Triathlon, guys. That's one that I recommend for anyone who's starting off in triathlon, taking little sprint triathlons, because this one was only a 3-mile run, 3-mile run, 12-mile bike, and then just like a 200-meter swim. So the swim, being last, your heart's already racing, so it will feel sort of like you're in cold water, or like you're tired. It's only a 200-meter swim, guys. It's not too bad. You can make it through that. And like I said, I recommend that for anyone starting off in triathlon, to try out a sprint triathlon where they have like about maybe 300, 400 meters of swim max. So that way you guys aren't like, panicking. Oh, shoot, I got to do 800 meters. Oh, shoot, I got to do this. No, I would recommend you guys start off with a small portion of swim, unless you guys are very strong swimmers. One of the lessons that I learned during that triathlon period was that make sure that you guys are prepared for it. I prepared for it for about a year and a half before I even for about a half year before I even said, you know what, I'm going to do my first triathlon. The reason why I did that was because, 6 months out, in 6 months you sort of get to know what your body is capable of doing and what it's not. One of the things is that when you're doing with triathlon, it's a little bit more difficult. So I'd say, take about 6 months to train for your very first triathlon, even if it is for a sprint triathlon. That way you guys can, sort of get your body used to running, biking, and swimming. And I would do little spurts like that in the gym, even though it wasn't the gym, on the treadmills. I would still do little spurts like that where I would do mini triathlons. I would start off with the swim, then I would go onto the bike and into the run, and sometimes I would do it backwards, like the Tinsel Triathlon in the reverse triathlon, where I would do the run first, the bike, and then I would try and swim 200 meters. Within those 6 months, I got from being able to swim 50 meters at first, when I would do little triathlons like that, to doing about 400 meters near the end when doing the little triathlons. And it just goes to show how your body actually works with you when you have that much time. If you guys throw yourselves at it with 1 or 2 months of training, it may be a little bit harder. You guys can still probably get through it, but it will be harder for you to control your breathing, control what you need to do, and it's going to be a pain. And that's one of the things you don't want during triathlon, is for it to be a pain. Make sure you guys have enough time to train for it, so that way you don't essentially break yourself down and say, oh, I don't want to do another one. So that way it becomes addicting. You're just like, I want to do another one. Especially for those of you who love challenges, you guys can tell yourself, I want to do another one because of how challenging it was. So one of the things I do for triathlon every single day, guys, is I go off and drink my protein shake. Why do I drink a protein shake every single day? It's more so that way my body is constantly digesting something, and so that way my body is absorbing something that's good for it. Now, one of the things is that a lot of people are like, oh, protein this and protein that, makes you gain muscle mass and it's going to make you slow. In all reality, guys, it actually helps you out. A protein shake will help you out so much more, because that way you don't have something heavy in your stomach while you're running, while you're swimming, or while you're biking. And it essentially absorbs easier into your body. Now, the shake that I drink is called the Earth Shake. Why do I prefer that shake especially over any other shake that's that's around? Is because it has only 1 gram of sugar, guys. Aside from that, it's got about 20 grams of protein, and a lot of people are gonna kick me, because they say, "Oh, it's 20 grams of protein." I've seen some that have 30 or 40. Okay, guys, yeah, you guys could see one that has 30 or 40, but the thing is that this one has the 20 grams that it has is nothing but lean protein. A lot of products out there have fat protein. A lot of them have just the heavy protein in general. The one that this one contains is lean protein, which helps me and allows me to be able to bike, run, and swim without bloating or anything like that. Because a lot of proteins do that. It hasn't felt good for me, guys. And I know that a lot of you suffer with the same problems. You guys are trying to find something that's going to help you out. In my recommendation, you guys should try out the Your Shake. I'm going to put a little picture of it right now here on the screen. But if you guys want to know a little bit more about it, I'm actually going to be uploading a full video on this channel as to what it is, what it does, and how it helps people out. Because if I try to go into it right now, it's actually going to be a long video. So that's essentially what I did for my first triathlon. My swimming was my essential point since I was a runner and I was a biker. But anyways, guys, this has been the Dan Triathlon Show on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed my tips, my training tips and all that. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe to the page, and I'll see you guys next time on on Team Dedication to Success. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and this is Dan Triathlon clocking out.